Second, starts on page 19, on top of page 19. And again, just to build off the last conversation, with the personal services, there is the allocation because some of the people that work in building grounds also work in parks, so you'll see the allocation for personal services there as well too, plus some temporary help during the season for grass cutting and stuff like that. So, with that, any questions on that? Go ahead.
So the Wayne County grant, the recreation grants going away.
I'm sorry, manager.
Wayne County is not going away?
No, it's in here. It's just a pass-through though.
Okay.
Would you look in the purchase here?
Well,
You requested.
Madam Chair, Mr. Woolley. So when Leo and I went through the equipment list and we saw our aging trucks that push snow, pull trailers, you know, our wish list was starting to replace some of our F-150s, F-250s, some of our trailers for pulling the lawnmowers. So I have a detailed list, but you know, the idea is, and you know, as the mayor told me, is well, let's see where we're at, and maybe we'll take it out of the budget. But if we're doing well and we can get a couple pieces, we can always amend and move some money to capital outlay if we don't have a horrible year in other areas of the budget, which I'm in agreement with. You know, what he asked me to do, the mayor asked me to do, was sit down with Guido and let's do an inventory of our equipment. This was a good year to do that, and we went to every single truck and every single piece and said, you know, what, some of these trucks are 02, 01, you know, they're getting old. I mean, and, you know, vehicle maintenance can only do what they can do to them, and, you know, sometimes they end up at dealerships because they're be repaired because they can't be done at vehicle maintenance. So, sooner or later, we're gonna bite the bullet, we're gonna have to get some trucks, and, you know, hopefully in the year that we have some surplus in a different line item or whatever, we can move it around and maybe get 1 or 2 vehicles a year over the next 2 years and be in good shape.
Madam Chair, as Jeff indicated, we fully anticipate that this year we will be moving forward with many of these purchases. How many, I'm not sure. We'll have to prioritize. But the one-time purchase will have a one-time budget transfer from somewhere, including it could be fund balance if we need to. Our goal is to try to avoid that if all possible. But again, we have to, you know, equip them with the tools to get the job done. And some of it, as many of these departments, and some of this stuff is just old and tired.
So these gives us a list to go by of your priorities and what the
Correct.
status of all of your.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have made that, and we shared it with the mayor. And he's in agreement, you know, the administration's in agreement. It's just, when can we do this and how can we do this? That's probably the 2 biggest questions.
You know, the challenge with the whole overall budget, you know, I mean, you guys see, like, you know, we've got 100,000 plus or minus a little bit of money there, and so, you know, our obligation is to pass a balanced budget, and so we try to look at these things and prioritize, and we understand and try to communicate with every department as that, you know, we're not saying that we're telling you no, we're just saying that we're going to have to deal with these symptomatically to make sure that we continue to be fiscally responsible while, again, allowing them the ability to do their job and maintaining the city. You know, but a lot of these departments, whether it's DPW, Parks and Rec, Police, Fire, the one challenge we have in every department is we haven't done a lot of reinvesting back in our equipment.
Happy to report they're all in service right now. We did some repair and we started the grass cutting this week, so, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Right underneath parks on page 19 is the penny farm. So if you have any questions on the penny farm, I don't notice there's no adjustments from the mayor's proposed to the department requested. So, Jeff, I mean, we probably may ask about the personal service. You want to talk about why there was a reduction there?
Yeah, we currently, our petting farm manager is off on an FMLA. And the idea when that person comes back, it won't be a, so to speak, contract. We'll have to visit them when they come back. activities of caring for the animals, and this is more of the supervision of ordering the straw and hay and shavings and scheduling the summer work and the workers, that you'll see a little reduction there.
Now, I noticed that on here, I think Councilwoman Croft mentioned it earlier, which was the Wayne County grant. Now, was that grant moved to the parks line item? Is that what I'm looking at here?
Madam Chair, this was the grant came into this department for the construction of the pond. And of course,
Okay.
if we apply for a grant somewhere else, it'll, likely have to follow wherever that goes. It'll come in and then go out. So if you remember, was it, because this was an overlap, we did like 2-year split, correct?
Correct.
Because it was $50,000 or $60,000?
Correct.
Actual.
Okay.
So the project that the grant was used for was at the Marietta Pond, and it's completely redone. New pumps, new lining, new grading, installing the rocks, and, the fish all made it, which was great.
Oh, it's complete already?
It is complete.
So both of it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So looking at this, so what was the actual cost of that project?
I don't know right now, but I think we made, it was completely funded by the grant. But you know that,
It would have been inside of 50 grand.
it would have been inside of 50 grand. Correct.
Yeah, because then we typically receive $25,000 annually.
Right.
We know if the windmill and the solar panels are producing anything, are they working, is it?
Madam Chair, Mr. Johnson, I don't know. I've been asked to look into that, and it's on my list. I know that there was a misnomer or miscommunication that when it was set up, it was supposed to pay for all of the utilities at the Petty.
No, I don't think
There
that's
is-
communicated, but.
Well, that's what was told to me, so I'm only repeating what was told to me, but it's nowhere near that. However, a little is better than none, so I need to check into that.
Yeah, I'm just interested.
Yep. And it's definitely been on my list, and I've been asked more than once about that, so I'm gonna have to,
If you turn to page 20, a couple of, smaller areas. On top, we have Parks and Rec special events, which represent the items like the upcoming splash pad, softball type things, those kind of programs. So that's what's in the special events department, sub-department, as you will. So any questions on